Hello there. Welcome to Dreamside Stories. Today, in the Living in series, we drift gently into the heart of 17th century Kyoto, a city of stillness and ritual, of silent courtyards and whispered prayers. Here, life moves with the seasons, and every step tells a story. The path winds through the morning mist. The stones are wet from night rain. You walk in silence, only the sound of your footsteps and the distant chime of temple bells. The sun rises behind the hills. It touches the forest with amber light. Ahead, Kyoto awakens. Rooftops shimmer behind the maple trees, their curved edges glowing in the dawn. A farmer leads his ox. A child gathers wood near a shrine. No one speaks. The morning belongs to breath and earth. The eastern gate stands open. Its beams are dark with age. You walk beneath it, quiet as smoke. The city opens like a painted screen. Narrow streets, wooden houses, the smell of cedar and miso. Paper lanterns still glow. A woman sweeps her doorstep. A dog watches from the roof. Kyoto does not shout. It whispers. You follow the river south. Vendors unpack their goods: sake, straw, rice. The air is cool, but full of movement. A flute plays far away. A monk crosses a bridge. A samurai walks past you in silence. And then you feel it. The city sees you. Every stone remembers. Every gate watches. Each step draws you deeper into something old, something waiting. Kyoto welcomes no one. It allows you to enter, if you're quiet. Another temple bell. Deeper now. Somewhere in the city's chest. You are no longer outside. You are within. The wind shifts. You smell incense. Doctor slides open. Someone laughs. A bird takes flight. Kyoto wakes slowly. Memory is its heartbeat. And you walk on. A crow calls in the distance. Its cry echoes through empty courtyards. You pause beside a low wall. Moss grows between the stones. A spider's web clings to the wood. In a nearby garden, wind chimes stir. Their song is soft, almost fragile. Steps approach from behind. A woman in a gray kimono passes, carrying herbs in a woven pouch. She does not look at you, but her presence lingers, like scent in the air. You reach a narrow bridge. Below it, the water moves slowly, reflecting branches and sky. Two children chase a paper ball across the planks. Their laughter, brief and bright, fades into silence. You step aside for an old man with a cart. He nods once, then keeps moving. This is a city that does not rush. Every moment belongs to itself. Even the pigeons seem to wait before they fly. Somewhere deeper in the city, a gong sounds once, and everything holds still, just for a second. The silence fades. Slowly, the city exhales. A pigeon flutters upward. The wheels of the cart vanish around a corner. You remain still for a moment. Then you continue walking. The wooden planks beneath your feet shift gently. You are deeper now. Past the outer edge. This is no longer the city for travelers. It is the city for those who belong. A lantern swings above a narrow crossing. Its light has faded, but its frame still glows. You pass beneath it. Two women sit beside a door, folding cloth. In silence, their hands move with memory, not thought. They do not look at you, but they do not need to. They already know you are there. The alley narrows. It smells of steamed rice and cedar smoke. The walls close in, not threatening, just close. You pass a wooden bathhouse. Its sliding door is ajar. Inside, water steams gently. Someone hums a tune with no words. A boy sits outside with a bowl of water. He washes a lacquered comb with care. He glances up, then looks away. The city has opened itself, but it does not speak. A narrow canal crosses your path. Woman empties a bucket into it. The splash is sharp, then it is gone. You step over the water and continue. Around you, life moves without rush. An old man kneels by a shoe rack. He adjusts each pair without touching them. You hear the faint sound of a broom somewhere behind the wall. Everything here is small, precise, deliberate. You pass a row of paper doors. Some are open. Inside, shadows kneel beside bowls. The room glows like amber. A breeze stirs the edge of your sleeve. You pause. The bell rings again, this time from within. And so you walk on, deeper still. The city no longer waits for you. It moves, and you must move with it. You step into a street that narrows and twists. People pass close. Cloth brushes your sleeve. A shoulder grazes yours. You keep moving. You belong here now. Ahead, a small market. Blooms. Crates of dried fish, hanging herbs. Bundles of rice wrapped in cloth. A woman holds out a slice of fruit. You take it, nodding. It is sharp and sweet. Someone calls across the stalls. A boy chases a chicken through the crowd. A man lifts a basket to your chest and asks nothing with his voice, only his eyes. You shake your head. He smiles anyway. You pause near a low table where ink brushes are arranged in rows, each one perfect, each one waiting. The stall keeper dips one in water. She draws a perfect line across wood. You watch her hands. Then you bow, and she bows back. You continue through the market. The street narrows again. The smell of soy and charcoal is thick in the air. You stop at a corner stand. A pot of miso simmers slowly. You squat and warm your hands above it. The vendor says nothing. But he ladles a portion into a small clay bowl. You take it. It burns your tongue, just slightly. The vendor watches your reaction. Then he nods once. You leave a coin. No words are spoken. Somewhere behind you, laughter rises. Not at you, not about you. Just laughter. You let it pass. You walk on. Past a courtyard where laundry flutters like prayers. Past a child drawing shapes in dust. Past a man sharpening a blade with slow, even strokes. You cross a small bridge. Below, the water glides over flat stones. A woman kneels at the edge, rinsing greens in the current. She hums to herself. The sound barely touches the air. On the other side, a row of food stalls smolders. Skewers hiss over charcoal. A boy turns them carefully, eyes on the flame. He looks up and offers you one. You accept. The meat is hot, sweet, and slightly smoky. You thank him with a nod. In the distance, a drum sounds once. A soft signal. Nothing urgent, but it shifts the rhythm of the street. Vendors. Glance up. The old man at the ink stall starts to pack his brushes. You finish your food and continue. The street bends east. Light spills between the buildings in golden shafts. The city moves, always. But now, so do you. The street opens, not into a plaza, but into a courtyard, quiet and full of hands at work. You cross beneath a wooden gate. Its beams are worn smooth by time, but strong. Inside, the air smells of ink, earth, and warm metal. A carpenter bends over, a plank shaving curls of cedar into a quiet pile. He does not speak, but he sees you. He nods. You return the nod and step farther in. Children pass carrying buckets of water. Their feet slap the stones. One pauses to look at you, then runs on. A woman kneels over a loom. Her hands move like water. Thread slides, turns, locks into pattern. You crouch to watch. She does not stop, but after a moment she speaks. One word, color. Then she lifts the thread to the light. It shines gold. You walk again. A man squats by a charcoal pit. He turns a blade slowly over the heat. You hear it hiss. Beside him, tools are arranged on a cloth. You recognize none of them, but they all belong. You stop by a table stacked with paper. A monk dips his brush, begins a new page. His calligraphy breathes. You do not read the characters, but the shape of them speaks. You bow. He bows back. The light changes. The courtyard dims. Clouds pass across the sun. You find a bench near a wall and sit. No one tells you not to. Someone offers tea. You accept without words. The cup is warm. The steam smells of jasmine and earth. In the far corner, a girl strings beads onto thread. Each bead has a color. Each knot holds it still. She hums softly. The sound of hammers, brushes, looms, and breath becomes one thing. A rhythm not planned but present. You rise, you pass the gate again, and as you leave, you touch its frame. The wood is warm. You're not sure how long you stayed, but the wind has shifted, and the city is calling again. The sun is higher now, and the streets have changed. Voices rise, wheels creak, doors open, one by one. You step into a broader street. Shops are open. Wooden signs hang from beams. A woman unrolls a scroll outside her bookstall. Brushes for sale, black, inkstones stacked beside them. The city is working. A man hauls sacks of rice across his shoulders, each step placed with care. Sweat gathers at his temples. He doesn't stop. You pass a bakery. Flat cakes fry on an iron slab. The air smells of wheat. An oil day, line has formed. The vendor shouts numbers, not angrily, just quickly. You keep walking. People brush past. Everyone is going somewhere. Two apprentices polish bronze outside a temple. One grins at the other. You catch their laughter. It feels human. It feels now. You turn a corner. The clang of metal grows louder. A blacksmith's forge glows orange. Inside, a man beats rhythm into steel. Each strike a breath. Each breath a moment. The noise is sharp, but not violent. You watch until he stops. He dips the blade into water. Steam rises like smoke. The edge hisses. You nod. He sees you and returns the nod. Outside, again, a pair of women carry baskets between them. They trade stories with their eyes. Lips barely move. You pass a schoolyard. Children kneel beside a master. He draws in sand with a stick. They copy. Quietly. You pause. They do not look up. Farther on, a man sits cross-legged with tools laid before him. He carves bone into buttons, one at a time. Each one different. The day is not loud, but it moves. And every person inside it moves with purpose. You follow the scent of cedar to a carpentry yard. Men raise beams into place with ropes and cauls. One stands barefoot on a scaffold, guiding the frame. He is young, but his voice is sure. The building grows before your eyes. A small boy fetches nails in a pouch. He trips, falls, spills them. No one scolds him. The nearest man kneels. They pick them up together. You keep walking. The sun is higher still, and the work goes on. There are no clocks, but everyone knows the time. It is the time for doing, for carrying, for shaping, for teaching, and you are no longer watching. You are part of the movement. The sun has begun to fall, and with it, the city changes again. Shadows stretch across rooftops. Lanterns blink into life, one by one. You follow the stone path downhill. The crowd is thinned. The air carries wood smoke and something sweet. Roasted chestnuts. You pause at a street vendor lighting his brazier. His hands move like memory. He fans the fire with a fold of bamboo. Sparks drift upward like tiny spirits. You buy a small paper bag, still warm from the heat. The chestnuts crack as you bite. Their sweetness grounds you. Up ahead, a group of performers set up on a low stage. Children gather, laughing softly. The youngest crawl into their mother's laps. A flute begins to play. It weaves through the air like thread. Drums follow, low and steady. The dancers arrive in silence, their faces painted white, robes of red and gold. Their hands move before their feet. Then the movement builds, spins and stamps. The crowd is silent. You find yourself swaying without realizing. The music climbs, and then stops. A heartbeat of stillness. Then applause. Polite, warm, brief. You step away and drift toward the alleys. Shops are closing. Wooden doors slide shut with hollow thuds. Curtains are drawn. But in the narrowest alleys, life continues. You pass a row of tea houses. Light spills from between bamboo slats. Inside, people kneel in circles. Laughter leaks through the paper walls. You enter one. The floor creaks beneath your feet. A host greets you with a bow. You are guided to a quiet corner. A kettle simmers nearby. Cups are placed before you. Green tea, clear and steaming. You sit in silence. Two men speak nearby. Softly, rhythmically. Their robes are formal. Their words are slow. You do not understand, but the meaning is in the rhythm. You sip. Time expands. A tray of sweets arrives. Red bean paste and mochi shaped like plum blossoms. The sweetness breaks the bitterness. Outside. Again, a bell tolls once. The street is darker now, but not empty. A woman lights a path with a lantern held low. She walks ahead of you for a while, then turns and disappears. You pass a shrine, tucked into a corner. The candles inside tremble. A man bows before them, head low. You do the same, not out of belief, but out of respect. The path rises again. You follow it. Past shutters and soft footsteps. Past the sound of water against stone. At the top, a small courtyard lies open. Lanterns hang from trees. A fire crackles. In a raised basin, elders sit in a loose circle. Their voices low, words half sung. Children lie on woven mats, already half asleep. You are offered a seat. You take it. Someone hands you a piece of grilled fish. The fire glows across their faces. A woman begins a story. Her voice is dry like paper, but steady. The story twists through battles, rivers, lost rings, brave foxes. No one interrupts. You do not know how long you listen, only that when the flames shrink low, no one moves to feed them. The night settles over the courtyard like a blanket. You thank them with a bow, and step back into the dark. As you rise to leave, an elder claps you on the shoulder. He says nothing, but his eyes hold something soft. You step into the descending mist. The sky is bruised with deep blue and fading gold. A soft rain begins. Not enough to run, just enough to hush the streets. The white stones glisten underfoot. You walk past doorways where sandals have been left to dry. A cat winds around your ankles, then vanishes into the night. You find yourself at a bridge. It stretches over a dark stream, its surface broken by drifting leaves. You lean against the railing. A couple crosses behind you, hand in hand, quiet. Farther down, someone plays a shamisen. The notes are faint, incomplete, like memory. A gust of wind moves through the trees, and the lanterns sway, the city breathes. You cross the bridge and take the long way home. You wake to the sound of rain, soft, steady, familiar. It brushes the roof like a broom made of mist. The city is quieter in the rain, not still, but softened. You step outside beneath a wide straw hat. The stone path glistens, drops gather on leaves, and drip like questions without answers. A child runs past holding a cloth above his head. He laughs, though no one follows. You follow the curve of the street. The market is smaller today. Covered stalls form a maze of dripping canvas. Vendors huddle near braziers. Steam rises from bowls of soup and boiling soy. You pause to buy roasted taro wrapped in wet paper. Its heat seeps into your hands. Across the way, a woman adjusts her display of calligraphy. Ink runs slightly on damp paper. Still, the words are strong. A courier passes you with a bundle wrapped in silk. His sandals splash as he jogs through puddles. You take the long road today, past the carpenter's yard where wood is stacked under cloth. The scent of cedar cuts through the damp. You stop at the temple steps. Rain darkens the stone. Two monks sweep the path, their robes wet to the knees. They do not pause. Inside, it is dry. The candles flicker in soft pools of gold. You kneel, not to pray, just to listen. The silence inside. The temple is not empty. It hums. You stay until your knees ache. Outside, the rain has lightened. A boy feeds koi in a shallow pond. Each ripple answers a drop from above. You take shelter near the tea house. The host is sweeping water from the wooden deck. She sees you and bows. You return it and move on. Down an alley you've never entered before. Low roofs curve like waves. Fabric awnings hang heavy with water. A door slides open. A man gestures you in. You hesitate, then accept. Inside, a workshop. Lacquerware glows in rows along the walls. Red bowls, black boxes, golden lines curled like smoke. The air smells of pine sap and soot. 3 workers sit cross-legged, brushes moving in slow rhythm. No one speaks, but they do not mind you. You sit on a mat in the corner. You watch their hands. One bowl is being coated layer by layer. Another is being etched with a crane. You stay longer than expected. Time in the rain moves like syrup. When you leave, they nod once. You nod in return, back on the street. The rain has faded to mist. The city is rinsed. The rooftops shine like fresh ink. You walk slowly now. Every sound is clearer. A shutter closing. A dog shaking its fur. Bamboo tapping gently against wood. You reach the bridge, the same one from the night before. But this time you do not cross. You stand and watch the water move. It carries blossoms, leaves, and time. You follow a sound, a gentle clang, repeating at a steady rhythm. It leads you past a row of closed shops to a small courtyard. A man sits on a low bench, tapping thin sheets of metal into rounded shapes. Rain beads on the tools beside him. He pauses when he sees you, then returns to his work. You stand in the doorway, watching. Each tap feels like a breath, each curve intentional. When he finishes one, he places it in a row with others. Bowls perfectly matched. You bow slightly. He nods. Back in the street, steam rises from a storm drain. You pass two women with baskets covered in wax cloth. They smile politely. You return the smile. A dog shakes water from its coat near a shop front. Someone calls its name from inside. It trots indoors, tail wagging. You stop under a deep eave. A woven curtain rustles beside you. Inside the home, someone is singing. A soft lullaby, barely audible over the rain. The sound holds you still. You move only when it fades. Further along, you see a group of boys floating small paper boats down a shallow stream. They crouch beside the edge, cheering softly when one makes it farther than the rest. One boat sinks slowly. The boy shrugs. You crouch too, just to watch. The boats bob, turn, and drift. The stream curves under a wooden bridge. You rise and follow it. Not because you need to, but because it feels like the right direction. And the rain, now only a whisper, follows too. The next morning arrives pale and cold. Mist clings to the lower streets like memory. Your breath rises as you walk, turning corners still slick with last night's rain. There is talk today of a lantern festival. You hear it from a boy running errands, from a shopkeeper placing dried persimmons in a basket, from the old man nodding by the well. By midday, you see the proof. Children with brushes and ink, painting fish and blossoms onto thin paper. Tea houses hanging colored silk from the rafters. Vendors, setting up low tables covered in sweets and pickles. The whole city seems to exhale in rhythm. You offer to help an old woman tie lanterns to a wooden beam. She doesn't speak but hands you the string. You knot them slowly, carefully. She inspects each one. When you finish, she nods once. A boy lights the first lantern before dusk. The flame flutters like a secret just told. You wander through streets that are no longer familiar. The lanterns change them. Soft color replaces shadow. The air smells of soy, citrus, and firewood. In the main square, people gather, not in a rush, but in a quiet, natural drift. You find a space near a stone bench. A group of girls in matching robes carry a long pole hung with bells. They dance in a circle, the sound like water over glass. Nearby, a monk pours tea for anyone who asks. You take a cup and sit cross-legged on the cold stone. The tea is grassy, bitter. It wakes you. Lanterns are now everywhere, in trees, on balconies, tied to walking sticks. Even dogs wear small ones around their collars. The crowd hums like bees in a hive, alive, but not loud. From one side of the square, a sound rises, the slow pull of string. A man releases a paper lantern into the air, then another, and another. Soon, the sky is full. Red, white, yellow, floating prayers. You feel your chest expand. A girl offers you one. She says nothing, just smiles. You take it, with both hands. There is a place to write something on it. You pause, and then write only one word. Return. You hand it back. She attaches the flame. Together you let it go. It wobbles, then rises. You watch until it's lost in the others. Somewhere behind you, laughter bursts, then fades. People begin to drift again. Some walk home, others to temples, inns, shadowed corners. You remain, until even the monks begin to pack their things. A woman sweeps petals from the stone with a quiet rhythm. Your legs are stiff when you stand. You take the long path home. Lanterns flicker in the windows. One by one, they're snuffed. The mist returns. You pass a boy carrying a stack of unlit paper lanterns. He nods to you. You nod back. He disappears around the corner. You keep walking. The street narrows. Stone becomes dirt. The sounds grow soft again, until there is only the wind and the light of your own breath. Farther down the hill, you hear a drum, not loud, but constant. Someone is still playing. You follow the sound. A group of teenagers stands around a low fire pit. One beats a small hand drum. The others clap or stamp in time. It's not a performance. It's just what happens when night is warm enough to gather. One boy balances a lantern on his head. The others laugh. So do you. You are offered a sweet rice cake. It sticks to your fingers. A girl shows you how to wipe them with a folded leaf. She doesn't ask where you're from. No one does. Later, they begin telling stories. Not ghost stories, but ones about love and theft and foxes that borrow human voices. You sit with your legs drawn up beneath you. The fire is low now. Someone stands and says they should leave before the rain returns. They say it as if the sky remembers. They bow to one another and vanish into side streets, calling soft goodbyes. You linger just a little longer. The embers look like stars in the dirt. When you rise, your knees crack. You walk toward the stream. The water has risen slightly. Your reflection is broken but calm. You reach into your sleeve and find a folded note someone gave you earlier. You forgot to read it. The paper is warm from your skin. You unfold it. There is no message, just a pressed petal. You fold it again and return it to your sleeve. You do not need to know who sent it. Not tonight. The morning comes slowly, gray and hesitant. Mist wraps the rooftops like thin silk. Today, you decide to head east, toward the Weaver's Quarter. There, the streets are tighter. Wooden beams cross above like ribs in a long hallway. You hear the looms before you see them. A deep, rhythmic clack, almost like breathing. Inside one shop, a woman weaves alone. She wears indigo-stained gloves and works without looking up. The threads move with perfect tension. You watch her for a while. She doesn't speak, but eventually she nods. Toward the bench, you sit. You watch the shuttle pass through the frame again and again. The cloth grows slowly, line by line. Outside, rain threatens but doesn't fall. You move on. A boy runs past holding a spindle. Further down the street, an old man is boiling dye in a massive black pot. Steam rolls over the rim. He uses a wooden paddle to stir. The scent is strong and bitter. A stack of fabric lies beside him, pale and waiting. He lifts one with long sticks, then lowers it into the vat. Blue seeps into the cotton like nightfall into day. You stay long enough to see it drip dry. You walk again. Not far, just a few lanes deeper. You pass a pair of apprentices cleaning window frames. One hums a tune. The other balances on a stone rail, steady as bamboo. At the end of the path, you reach a gate. Not large, but carved with care. It opens onto a small courtyard. There is a tree in the center, its leaves still green, though most have turned. A man is raking fallen leaves into a spiral. You step around the edges, careful not to disturb it. He looks up and smiles, then returns to his work. A cat watches from the windowsill. You continue to the edge of the neighborhood. Here, the buildings change, less paint, more stone. Shadows stretch longer here, as if time slows with the footsteps. You find a narrow building with open shutters. Inside, a silk shop. The owner is tying lengths of fabric between beams. Damp dye catches the light like fire. Each piece holds a different pattern. Cranes, waves, maple leaves, falling snow. He tells you each is for a different season. No color belongs to just one time, he says. You nod. He offers you a small remnant, too short, to sell, but still rich with color. You take it, you fold it, you keep it. Outside, clouds gather again. You decide to return the long way. The streets are quieter now. Smoke rises from cook fires. Shadows stretch into alleyways. At a corner, you hear laughter. Two girls sit beneath a window, folding paper into cranes. One crane takes flight in a sudden gust. They chase it, giggling. You smile, then turn home. The cloth in your sleeve is warm. You think of the weaver and the dye, and the man with the seasons in his hands. And for a moment, you wonder, how many lives does it take to know a city? You do not have an answer, but still, you walk. On your way back, you take a detour through a narrow corridor flanked by tall fences. It smells of wet stone and wood smoke. A rustle draws your attention. Two children crouch behind a cart, drawing shapes in the dirt with sticks. They don't see you, or perhaps they pretend not to. One draws a dragon, the other, a house with smoke rising from its roof. They speak softly, and you catch a name, Yuki. It floats in the air like breath. At the end of the corridor, a lantern flickers behind a paper screen. A small home, its door slightly ajar. Someone coughs inside. You pass quietly. Soon, you arrive near the edge of the canal. The water moves lazily, and above it, laundry sways between homes. You pause at the bridge. Below, a woman is rinsing vegetables in a woven basket. She sings softly to herself. You can't make out the words, but the tone is soft and steady. At the bridge's end, a vendor is packing away his wares. He has sold out of rice balls and only offers pickled radish now. You buy one, even though you're not hungry. He smiles with his eyes. Farther down, a narrow platform stretches over the water. A fisherman stands there, patient. The line does not move, but he seems content to wait. You stay until the shadows thicken. And when the first bell rings in the distance, calling evening prayers, you turn and begin your walk back. The remnant of silk in your sleeve brushes. Your wrist, you think of cranes and rivers and seasons that forget their names. Evening comes early among the pines. Their needles catch the last of the light and hold it like thread. You walk along a narrow trail, soft with fallen needles. Each step is hushed. This part of the city is quieter. Fewer homes. More forest. You pass a small house with a low gate. A lantern swings near the door. Its glow touches the stones like breath. Someone is tending a garden lit by fireflies. You nod in greeting. They nod back, then return to trimming a bush into a perfect circle. The path bends. You follow. It leads to a clearing. A pond lies still beneath overhanging branches. A crane steps from the reeds. It lifts one leg and waits. You do the same, still as you can. When it moves again, it vanishes into the dark. You walk on. Along a ridge, a boy lights small fires in ceramic bowls. He spaces them evenly, like stars set down by hand. An old woman follows behind him, chanting under her breath. You step aside to let them pass. Their firelight dances in the pine shadows. Further up the hill, the air grows cooler. You wrap your sleeves tighter. Wind moves through the branches. The sound is soft but constant. It feels like the city is breathing. You reach a shrine tucked into the hillside. Its beams are dark with moss. The door is closed, but incense drifts from inside. You leave a coin in the wooden tray. You bow once, then again. Not for a god, but for the quiet itself. A man sits nearby, sketching the trees. His page is nearly full. He nods, but does not speak. You sit not far from him. Between you, a breeze carries the scent of pine and ink. Time stretches. When you rise, the stars are visible. Back on the trail, a girl passes you carrying a branch of pine needles. She hums a tune that sounds older than the stones. You stop at a ridge where the lights of the city return. Below, lanterns glow like amber insects. A drumbeat rises faintly from somewhere deep. Within the night, you stand and listen. Not for long, just long enough. You descend the trail slowly. The trees grow denser. Their branches intertwine overhead like fingers in prayer. A fox darts across the path. Its movement is soundless. You stop at a stream, narrow and clear. Someone has placed stones in the current to make a crossing. You step from one to the next, pausing halfway to watch the water curl around your feet. On the other side, an old tea house stands beneath the branches. It is nearly hidden, but a candle flickers inside. A bell chimes once as you push the door open. Inside, two travelers share a pot of tea. You are welcomed with a bow and shown to a mat near the window. You order nothing, but the host brings you a cup anyway. It smells of roasted barley. The silence is warm. One of the travelers begins to tell a story about a pine tree that lived for 1,000 years and remembered every foot that passed beneath it. You listen with your hands wrapped around the cup. Later, outside again, you find yourself walking without purpose. The trail splits. You take the narrower path. It climbs until you reach a low wall. Beyond it, the city shimmers. Layered rooftops, drifting smoke, points of light. A man plays a shakuhachi, flute, nearby. The sound blends with the wind. You sit on the wall, legs dangling. You don't ask his name. He doesn't ask yours. When the tune ends, you bow. He returns it and continues playing. The stars shift in place, and slowly you rise. Back, down the trail, carrying the sound with you. The morning is still, not silent, but waiting. You walk through a gate you've passed many times, but never entered. Beyond it lies a garden open to the sky. Raked gravel glows pale under soft sun. You sit on a low wooden platform. The breeze moves, a single pine branch. The rest stays still. Your hands rest on your knees. Your breath follows the wind. You do not know how long you sit there. Time has softened. A man arrives with a broom made of reeds. He begins sweeping the stones. You watch him work. Each stroke is slow, deliberate. When he finishes, he bows to the gravel, then to the pine, then to you. You return the bow and rise. The streets are almost familiar now, not because they have changed, but because you have. You move without map or plan. Every corner holds something you've seen before, but never the same way. A child feeds sparrows near the shrine. An old man plays Go alone, murmuring each move. A dog naps in a circle of sunlight. You stop near the river. It looks like the day you arrived. But now you notice how the banks curve like an invitation. You follow them. The city exhales as you walk. A kite floats overhead, tail fluttering. Someone laughs. You enter the edge of the market, slower than before. You buy nothing, but you smell everything. Pickled plum, sweet bean paste, roasting sesame. The vendors greet you with nods. You return each one. You cross the bridge again. Below, a girl floats a boat made from bark and string. It spins once, then sails on. At the far side, a boy is playing with a pinwheel. It spins in his breath. He offers it to you. You decline, but thank him. He grins and spins it again. You pass a familiar door. The lacquer. Shop to close today. You smile, knowing it is still there. You take the last path, the one that curves behind the temples. The forest waits there. You enter. Moss carpets the ground. The air is cooler. You walk without sound, past cedar and stone, and then you stop. Not for any reason, but because the wind pauses, and you pause with it. You look back at nothing, and ahead at everything. Kyoto holds still for you, not to keep you, but to let you go. You have walked the narrow lanes, listened to the bells, sat beside the river, and watched Kyoto breathe, not as a guest, but as part of it. In this city, nothing asks for your attention, yet everything stays with you. The sound of sandals on stone, the scent of pine, the shape of silence. Thank you for drifting with us. Until next time, in another place.